Hello everybody, I am a guy with a yo-yo. Today's throw is the Icarus by Dr. Popular. We're going to figure out why this yo-yo has so many holes in it and if the guy's even a real doctor. But first, the Community Spotlight. Welcome to the Community Spotlight, where we showcase something different from the community every video. In today's spotlight, it is Dr. Popular himself. In addition to his yo-yo related accolades, Dr. Popular is also a musician. The beat you're hearing right now was created by him. To get a good handle on where this throw came from, first, let's dive into Dr. Popular and why you should care about his yo-yo. For those of you who don't know, Dr. Popular has been around the yo-yo community for decades. When he isn't throwing, he's doing a bit of everything: music, art, and even a long-running vlog. When asked about how he started yo-yoing and why he has so much passion for throwing, this is what he said. I first started yo-yoing on my 21st birthday, which was back in 1998. I had just stopped in a mall after a long trip, and there was this guy opening up a kiosk at that very moment. I happened to have a yo-yo with me, which I had just bought on the trip, so I showed him that I was learning, and he hired me to work at his kiosk. I got paid to stand around all day and play with yo-yos. I wasn't on the internet at the time, and I don't think many other folks were then either, so the most common way to learn new tricks was from books. Ball bearings were new at the time, so the tricks weren't as complicated as they are now. After about a week, I had learned most of all the tricks in the books, and I just started making up my own. Although Doc Pop has worked on many collaboration projects over the last 2 decades, he has only released 4 throws under his exclusive brand: the Executive, the Weekender, the Icarus, and the Bolt Part 2. Doc's love for organic shapes and high wall response areas really comes through in this design for the Icarus. Conceptually, the Icarus was designed to be Doc Pop's dream 1A yo-yo: organic, floaty, and fun to play with. Knowing that high wall response areas lend themselves to more friction, he designed the smooth groove system some years back to fight this. Tinkering with the weight distribution and constant desire to innovate, you'll notice the Icarus has small holes drilled around the response pad area. According to Doc, this took a lot of work in the prototyping phase. Ultimately, those holes had to be drilled by hand to complete the vision. The aim is to allow more air into the response area and look darn cool while doing it. And after some play, I can say that is true. So the Icarus is a 6061 aluminum mono metal. It weighs in at 65.38 grams, which is fairly standard. Obviously, you can tell from its shape. It is a organic throw, which means that it has that nice rounded O profile to it. The diameter on this yo-yo is 55.16, so it feels really good in the hand. It has a very nice gap on it, which gives you plenty of room for all of your string tricks, and the Icarus ships with the standard pad system of the 19 millimeters, and it has a center track bearing. I changed out the pads on mine to silicone, but the stock pads play just fine. That's just a personal preference. This throw is loaded with a lot of unique design features here. So if you'll look closely here, you can see this yo-yo has holes in it, right? So that's kind of what we were talking about before, that Doc Pop had to go through a lot in the prototyping phase to get those holes drilled just right. But they look really cool, and they actually do serve a bit of a purpose. It does seem to help a little bit with the lacerations, suicides, and slack tricks. So, and there's also like a very slight smooth groove here, which is just a little bit of that metal is missing if you look closely there. This hub right here can also accommodate 1-inch buttons, which is not something I have ever seen before on any yo-yo, and it ships with a center track bearing. You can already tell that I swapped out the original pads with silicone, but that's just, you should know by now, that's something that I do with all my yo-yos. For our comparison section, we have the Doc Pop Icarus, the Rain City Skills collaboration Convoy yo-yo, and then the One Drop Mark Mott Classic. So when I compare these yo-yos, it's strictly for size. It's not necessarily for play style. They are all unique to each other. But if you look here, the Icarus kind of fits in between all of these, so it is most closely shaped to the Convoy, but you can kind of tell here that is not too far off from the Markmont Classic. During the design process, the Markmont Classic is one of the yo-yos that inspired the Icarus, so it's not a huge surprise that it does. And realistically, I think the Markmont Classic weighs pretty heavily on most organics design process at some point in time, whether or not they mean it to or not. But just the same, the Convoy is just a little bit wider than the Doc Pop Icarus, and then the gap width on it is actually shaped differently as well, and you can tell it's not a high walled organic, so it also plays completely differently. But this was just so you can kind of see what it looks like next to some other throws. In closing, I really like the Icarus. It's fun, enjoyable, and just an awesome overall organic yo-yo. Question of the day today for you. Did you already know who Dr. Popular was? Did you know that he wasn't a real doctor? Let me know in the comments. As always, check out the description for links, extra information, and other things relating to this video. I really appreciate you watching. As always, until next time, later days.